New Braunfels, Texas.
Part of a broken clam. Not going to keep that. It's a beautiful day. I went out this morning because even though it's going to go in the 90s today, it was I think 72 when I got up, and I can feel a nice breeze. In fact, for the last couple of weeks there's been breeze, and so thought today would be the day temperature wise. This is a Trigonia clam steinkern. So it's the internal cast. You can see where it got the name Trigonia with the 3 points here. Put that in my plastic collecting bag. Here, another broken steinkern. So I'm going to leave that one behind. But the clam internal mold, the shell's gone. When the animal died, it was in the beach or beachfront or the ocean bottom, and the animal itself deteriorated in the shell. And so after all the animal's body was gone, the only thing left was the shell. So sand seeped into the opening of the shell, and then from the shell, that sand over time turned into rock, and then over the years the shell deteriorated. Here's the steinkern. So this is the sand that went into the shell that turned into rock. Just a little clam. Again, you can use the two theses from 1929 and 1937. Again, the first one was, her last name was Ries, Fauna of the Glen Rose, and Glen Road is 2 words. And here's a much better looking steinkern right here, and something next to it broken. I'll pick up the steinkern, and that's a broken echinoid, so definitely not going to keep a broken echinoid. Up here, bunch of steinkerns. Now again, even though I say steinkern, I don't say which kind it is. These shape-wise are probably the same, but the others were not the same shape, so they're a totally different kind. Now up here a little higher, that looks like the Porcystis globularis. Reach it and bring it into camera view. It's got a connection point there. It's a lot of flattened. A lot of them in Bandera are flattened in that formation. South of Dripping Springs, they're small. So depending on where you collect them, they vary in size. Only one time did I find like a worm tomb stuck to it. So this one's a little flat, but there's worm tubes on the outside on one. Over all the years I've found them. So you wonder that they must have been soft. There's another one. I one time when I was with my children, gave them a nickname, Cavemen Marbles. It stuck with me and them, but I don't hear anybody else call them that. It's a nice little fossil. Gonna look at all this here. So there's a steinkern. Now these little round echinoids are forams, or foraminiferams. They're one-celled animals, and they are everywhere here. Here's a small gastropod. Actually, it's broken off, so they're a lot longer. Niernia, I believe. Here's one longer. And actually, there's a bunch of different species of these. Some of them get this big around, so, you know, 2 fingers wide all the way around. Here's another one. Here's another one. Usually when you find them in the formation. So this one may be a different species than that one. I'll reach up here. You can't see where I'm reaching up higher. This is a different shape, steinkern, so it's a different clam. I'll throw a couple of these Orbitulina in here. So I'm going to throw them in the bag. Drop my screwdriver. Again, I said I didn't fall, but I did lose my footing. If you do fall, you're not going to fall very far. I want to see what this is. Just a little clam. Since I'm here, put the camera up a little higher. Okay. There's a nice little Nethia. Let me turn it over so you can see all the ribs. And it's a beautiful tiny specimen. Orbitulina stuck on the bottom. So this just solid fossils all through here. You could take this home and sit under a little magnifying glass. And here's our first whole echinoid for the day. There's a bump on it right there, but this is a hard urchin that's in the Glen Rose only, Heteroaster obliquatus. There's heterasters in other formations, but there's the paraproctor anus, there's the peristome, the mouth. Drop that in the bag. And that one will probably clean up real well because it was in beautiful shape. Looks like a part of an oyster here. Grabbed a Nethia. Put the Nethia in there. This oyster is broken. Not a lot of detail, matrix on it. So I'm going to drop that one. There's just fossils everywhere. There's Nethias, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, all over the place. Another 2 there, another one there, there. They're just all through this formation. This is a Porcystis, but the whole bottom half is missing. This formation's just full of Nethias, 1, 2, 3, 4, all over the place. Now this is a beautiful, huge Porcystis, another one, a Heteroaster, a better oyster, and that one rolled down, a clam steinkern. So I'm gonna, this one's missing the bottom, but that one looks pretty good. You can see all the ornamentation on it. That's the gastropod. I mean, haven't found any. Well, actually, we did these. These are gastropods, snails. We haven't found the Pliotoxaster comanchii yet, or the Leptoselenia. There's another Porcystis globularis. Put that in the collecting bag. And the gray over here is from weathering, where this side is eroding, and there's for saving itself the yellow. And so two more Porcystis. This is a whorl of a bigger Nethia. Again, this is tiny compared to a bunch of them. I'm going to pick up this oyster since we didn't keep any oysters. Again, have to refer to the literature because I know a lot of oysters, but not, this doesn't have much ornamentation or anything. Okay, this is a Leptoselenia texana. A beautiful echinoid. It's got tubercles. The AMs are wavy. This one is missing part of its bottom. Also, this will clean up. I use a little bit of vinegar, mostly water. That's acid, so that'll eat this outside calcium. Now, if I let it sit in there, it'll deteriorate and eat the whole thing. So you just use it a little, maybe a toothbrush. If you got some harder matrix, you would want to, there's a broken trigonia. Harder matrix, you might want to use a much stronger, instead of a toothbrush, I like a brass brush because it's stronger than the matrix, but not stronger than the test. It will, if you're going to photograph and everything, yes, you might see some scratches. So wire brush isn't, again, brass, not steel. On this ledge here is another Leptoselenia. Again, this zone is called the Selenia zone, and this one's got a little crushing, but complete. Nice big apical system, plating on top. So this one will clean up. I may have to use like a rotary or abrasive engraver is probably what I'd use to knock this matrix off the bottom and then clean it up a little. So you can see there's just fossils everywhere, little fossils. Clams, gastropods, oysters, orbitulinas everywhere. Just all through here. Those snails. But it's a beautiful day to be out here. And there's a big old broken clam. Now this is a different type of snail, probably a Lanadia. It's missing the top, but you can see the whorls. Again, this is a steinkern. And you can see that connection point on that globularis, Porcystis globularis. Again, they think this is the fruiting spore of some type of algae. So this would be, producing the young, I suppose. There's a nice steinkern of a clam, and right below us, it looks like two heterasters. So one here, one here. Going to break these out. The heterasters, whenever again, we haven't found the Pliotoxasters, but whenever you find them with them, they can tend to be large. So this one's actually a pretty nice specimen, should clean up real well. And where did that other one go? Because when I saw it, I saw two. There's Nethia. There's a different type of gastropod, but I'm not going to go get my hammer and bust that out. Oh, there's the other hederaster. Now, you can't tell it. This may be the pliotaxter, but it's all bent up out of shape. So we're going to leave it behind, get a better one. Steinkern, a big one. Actually, there's some bigger than my fist open that way, called an Arctica gibosa, that come out. Okay, this one's crushed, but you can see the detail on this Pliotoxaster comanchii. Besides the unpaired am being in a deep sulcus, all the other paired ams, so these two are in a off the, pushed into the surface. There are some other features, but in this formation, just to distinguish between the two, that's enough to get you led the right way, so you don't confuse it with other. There's a busted. Again, you can, this from the side looks beautiful, but it's not complete. It's all smashed. You go to the beach today looking for, let's say, a sand dollar. Most of the sand dollars are broke, but here we're on a beach 110 million years old, and we're finding whole fossils. So these are fallen from above this ledge. Now I've gotten 3, 4. That's these are all heterasters, and that one's missing almost the whole top. These are a little crushed, but for studying plating or until you get better specimens, generally what I do, if it's something I've never collected before, I keep it, and then when I have better specimens later. So you can see the pattern on that Porocystis globularis, along with the ugly Hemiaster comanchii. So I said we'd find 3 echinoids here, and we have. Here's a different type of gastropod, a longer whorl on the side, total different shape than what we found so far. There's just so many different types of animals, both genus and species. Another Porocystis, ugly Porocystis. We'll keep this better one. But weather's cooperating, fossils are cooperating. This is a broken Pliotoxaster comanchii. There's a Hederaster obliquatus. Obliquatus has this wedge shape from the side, that sloping shape. That's where it got the name. I think Latin derivative. And there's a lot of sea urchins that are like, the name Hederaster, Holaster, Macraster. Aster stands for star, which is that star pattern on top of all these sea urchins, which is the 5 AMs coming together at the apical system and the inner AMs between them. So it makes that star pattern, thus the name Aster. Little tiny clam, little tiny gastropod. Again, a different shape on the gastropod, so that's going to be a different genus. Up higher up there is a different, I believe this is called a Corbula. You can see this here. You can see how widespread this is. I think they call that the beak and ridge. So this is a total different than every one we've picked up so far, clam. So if we picked up 10 clams, we probably picked up 7 different genuses. Trigonia is probably going to match what we picked up earlier. That's too worn. Okay. Gonna look at these flat rocks because all my hunting career I've been told that one of the marker fossils for the Selenia bed these are nice smooth clams, but back to these smooth rocks. See, now they're coming out of the formation with hardly any wear on them at all. So that's another Geological, maybe the same genus and species. A flat clam here, which is different than the others. Anyway, we're looking for, in these flat rocks, a real small clam that is its own fossil. It only shows up above the Selenia, therefore it signifies the formation and what layer you're in. And they're called Corbula. That's the genus. I don't know the species. There's a bunch of them. And this nice, beautiful steinkern. Probably another Geological, but pretty nice looking one. So they got real clean here. Again, I'm looking at the flat rock. Again, I've hunted here before. Usually I find them on the other side in this flat rock. Again, looking for Corbula. And there's some right there. These are little oblong, little flat clams in this rock. So this is called a zone fossil. So below this you'll find the Leptoselenias. Now, is this how I look for Leptoselenias? No, because I have a lot of places that I've hunted and very few have the Corbula. They may have it, but I never find them. Believe it or not, this is not a fossil. It's a round rock. So, a lot of times we find fossils, rocks, that look like fossils that aren't fossils at all. Now, it doesn't mean there's not fossils in there. So here's some more Corbula. There's a lot of them in this rock. So real clear, this Corbula bed. Oh, this one's even more so. They jump off the top of that rock. So there's the Corbula. Easy to see. Plus, this is a nice little fossil because it's easy to show. Doesn't weigh much. Fossils are clear. There's probably some in there too, but not jumping out like that last one. Now this one's even flatter and it's just full of Corbula. So I'm keeping those. Not as many Corbula, but there's some in there. There's one place west of Canyon Lake, and they're piled up on top of each other. So the rock is flat, and the fossils or Corbulas are stacked everywhere on top of each other. Like this rock there, everywhere here. All through this right there. But at this other location, you can turn the rock sideways and they're all through the side of the rock also. But not here. They look like they all appear to be on the surface. So again, out of all the places I hunt Glen Rose, which is a lot, I only have 2 places where I can find the Corbula so distinctive like this. And it's on both sides of the road here. We'll be going to the other side after we finish this side. Now as we go up the formation, you notice a color change. So you're noticing we're not finding as many fossils. So this bed that we're in now, they didn't survive. And I mean, there's fossils in there. Probably, you know, again, we're talking about macro fossils. Fossils you can see with your hand, pick up with your hand. But there's microfossils in here, and they have a way to break up the rock and crush it, add chemicals, separate it. There's some more Corbula. So I picked this up a lot lower. So this Corbula bed's here. So the fossils we're hunting for are below my feet in the dirt, and this overburden of rock is hiding everything. So if I keep on hunting, and again, I've hunted here before, there's nothing in front of me. So I'm going to go back and look on the other side. And you know, the nice clean fossils on that side are better than these worn ones. Another clam, steinkern. Clam. Now I'm looking at this round shape, not sure what it is. So right above this grass, I'm going to reach down and find out what it is. I was hoping, oh, it's the top of a porcystis. So there's the connection point, and then it's all worn. So I was hoping it was an echinoid that's rare. Beautiful clam. Right here looks like a clam, but it's been chunked up pretty good. Another clam. So look down the formation the way we came from. Look back down here. Now some formations, this matrix, this hard matrix is where you get all your fossils. I mean, there's something here small in the rock. Could be Corbula. I'm not gonna go get my hammer and chip at it because I've got enough beautiful specimens just loose in the flat slivers of rock like tile. There's so many fossils in Texas at this time. This used to go right up through the ocean, used to go right up through the center of Texas. So there's shallow, so you don't find many ammonites. You find a lot of sea urchins that lived in the formation. Looks like a broken trigonia, broken hederaster. Up here on the side, oh, we're going to go back down now. The stick, besides digging, I can use it like a walking cane. There's a broken hederaster echinoid. Anyway, I was talking about the shallow seas. So there's a bunch of echinoids in these seaway in Texas, whereas if you go to the next lake over, is it New Mexico? I think they only have like 6 or 7 known echinoids. Got a part of an oyster here, but there's a porocystis. Here's a porocystis. There's a hederaster, porocystis, big hederaster, porocystis. So I'm going to go ahead and pick these up. I hope you enjoyed this video and subscribe to my channel. There's a bunch of videos on the channel now.